Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Christine here with a discussion about Assyria in Total War Pharaoh Dynasties, the cavalry faction, the only faction in the entire game that has the inherent ability to recruit cavalry. And oh boy, is it powerful! It is extremely powerful. Even the starting cavalry unit that you do have is quite very strong. So let's take a look at what we have on offer over here with Apal Ekur over here. So you have access to cavalry units, but you have quote-unquote limited range units. To be fair, that's not really too big of a problem, considering the fact that you do have various options. It's interesting that you actually have access to sappers right there as a unique unit. But limited range units, yeah, that's not quite true. In fact, they might actually have some of the best range units. You do have access to assassination plot at all times, and you do start in a position as a king in one of the seats over there. Now, in terms of unique buildings, we have the War Council, so recruitment cost, influence and construction cost in this province for recruitment and military support. We have the Palace of War, so recruitment rank +8, that's pretty powerful. Influence +2, XP per turn, and recruitment cost. Generals receive a common amount ancillary upon recruitment. Then we have the Defender's Fortress, happiness, siege, holdout, benefits, labor cost, ammunition, and morale. And then finally, the Arena of Trials, recruitment slots, recruitment rank, and influence cost. Jeez, that's +6 along with +8. Damn. You do need general, but still, damn. That is really, really powerful when you think about that. So they might actually have some of the best armies in the game. Now, in terms of native units, you do have the Acadians. So you have Acadian farmers, hunters, militia spearmen, chargers, clubmen, and then you get access to Acadian horsemen. These are just native units, keep in mind. So everyone has access to these, can get access to these, but you do have unique units on your own. That is pretty damn substantial. So, okay. So let's consider the situation. In terms of unique units, you have Assur militia, levies, chariots, horsemen. This is a tier 3 unit, and I think you start with one. Now, these guys, you look at these guys, they have a 36 charge bonus, and quite importantly, they have bonus for Solar. So they're a cav dedicated towards defeating other cavalry units. Though I think many cavalry units do have that kind of benefit. Kind of curious to see how that will play out against chariots, though. That is really going to be the question. Though they're also shielded cavalry with 45 armor. So medium cavalry, really? But still, pretty damn good. Then you have Assyrian sappers. That's a really significant siege benefit when you consider it. So it's a shielded unit, heavily shielded unit. Very importantly, that this unit deals high damage to city gates, allowing you to instantly launch a siege battle without having to wait. So you might be able to conquer a lot more of the map faster than anyone else with these kind of sappers. Unfortunately, you don't start with them, because that would be a bit too powerful, wouldn't it? You do have a spearman, medium spearman, excellent defense, but low lethality. If we consider the lethality stat, that it's only 5%. We do have chargers with very high lethality, so 14% lethality. We have Assur levy archers over there. Like, the game is like, oh, you have limited range units, and then it's like you have 2 unique range units on your own. Mind you, not really the best. I mean, obviously, Amon Mess has access to the best range units in the game, but still pretty decent ones. Then you get defenders, heavy infantry, not gonna be the great heavy spear infantry, not gonna be the best damage dealers in the world, but at the same time, heavy infantry, high level of armor, can probably have a significant benefit in auto resolve. And then you can combine that with heavy charge infantry, oh yes, with clubs. will have a 14% lethality. So that is pretty powerful. And then the ultimate unit, really the ultimate screw you unit, Assur horse archers. So horse archers and ranged chariots, one of the things that they talked about is how they want them to have a higher level of lethality, at least with chariots. It apparently doesn't translate in terms of the horse archers, but just keep in mind, these guys will run in circles around anyone else. There is literally no unit in the game, I think, that could really match these guys. Because, yeah, you know, there's some chariots that could do it, but it's like chariots, the problem with chariots in this game is that there's too many entities per unit, so they kind of have a problem with pathfinding, right? When you consider how many there are. So that's a bit of a problem, whereas horses don't quite have the same issue. It's more of an engine aspect as opposed to anything else, but they did choose to go with too many entities per unit, especially at higher unit sizes. You do start over here, and your goal is to take over Assyria, which, yeah, you start right next to Assyria, so yeah, let's become king of the universe. So let me just jump into a campaign and show you how it is. Okay, over here, we start with several units of militia, levies, and levy archers, as well as a unit of Assur horsemen. That's pretty strong. And your general at the same time starts with a bow. So he's in a pretty decent situation. He also has the snipe attribute for his own personal archers. So you already have an elite unit to lead. And archers, and these guys are like freaking incredible. Like that range, it may not necessarily be the highest range in the world, but damn, those guys are quite something in terms of their capabilities over there. So that's already a benefit. You don't have any special recruitment necessarily available from the beginning, except, you know, those chariots. And only if you enable the option in campaign customization to unlock those kind of unit recruitment. Well, I guess you could get those special chariots, but you don't start with the wood for it. So, yeah, that is certainly going to be a problem if you're trying to recruit. I imagine you can trade for it, but still. Those chariots, though, holy crap, they are tier 6 units. So, like, they're the elite of the elite. I mean, it's already ridiculous enough that you start with a significant power level with the cavalry here. But you know what's crazy about this faction? Like, let's just consider the auto-resolve here. And just keep in mind, this is the same auto-resolve you'll have, whether or not you customize your campaign or start by default on Legendary. So I think cavalry is really well suited in terms of, like, auto-resolve. Which is really hilarious. So genuinely, you can just go over here and just like, okay, I'll just take literally everything that stands in my path. So yeah, that's pretty damn ridiculous. You might have some problems with the siege battle there, but then again, you can just, one of the things you could just do is get the general over here in your capital and yeah, just get some recruitment done, because why not, really? So you can just like force march over here and start taking territory. So you only start at war with a really minor faction that's insignificant, that's meant for you to defeat in the Suhu. And then you'll have an entire province under your control, which presents a heck of a lot of options. I'm not gonna lie to you, that is pretty powerful. The bigger issue really is like the real question in this campaign, as I see it, is like how quick can you take Assyria? Because genuinely so, you are right next door to it. You're not like Babylon over here, all the way here, having to make their way here. And the benefit, of course, in all of this is the royal court, you know, the power of the crown. Because once you do become king of the universe, a lot more powers do become possible for you. You also have a 10% charge bonus and speed for the entire army. Like, seriously, your cavalry is just going to be running around the entire battlefield, just obliterating everything that stands in its path. That is absolutely ridiculous. In terms of the commands, you have the active command, as it commands your army to undergo military training, increasing the rank of its units. So this guy is really pushing the whole I am elite army to the maximum level. Higher unit tiers and rank cost more military training points. Your trained army temporarily gains 1 recruitment slots. Then, if not used, military training is gained each turn for every war you are in. At 100 military training, you get 10% reduction to recruitment cost across your faction. Jeez, that is really damn powerful, all of it. Like, just combined. Like, just everything that this guy can do is freaking exceptional in terms of, like, you know, recruitment ranks, all that, recruitment costs, benefits, all that kind of stuff. So that is the power that you do have available at your disposal. In terms of your court position, you do have, so you do start on the lower end of the spectrum, though if you could get the King of Assyria benefit, that would be pretty damn powerful. Because that would give you Assyria horse masters, which you might want to be careful about dealing with Assyria. Still, you do gain the plot of assassination, which is not necessarily the best plot in the world, so gaining some other benefits like disbanding a rebellion or more favor with worship deities, especially Marduk, or stronger bodyguards for all armies, that could be really, really solid. And then, of course, you know, King of the universe. Isn't that an arrogant freaking statement? Yeah, apparently this is the universe, gentlemen. I mean, civilization did begin over there, as far as we know, or that's the myth anyway. Still, you start with the construction time of -1 for recruitment and military support buildings. Jeez, they're really pushing that whole aspect to a ridiculous level. You do also start with Ninurta as a god over here. He gives you a prayer of charge bonus and reload speed. Yeah, that's pretty damn strong. Recruitment, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't think I've seen so many stacking bonuses in recruitment that you can get in a single faction. Like, racial-wise in Warhammer 3, sure, but not quite this. And then, of course, an influence benefit. You also get dwellings that give you ammunition and recruitment and influence in the province, and the devoted general gets speed and battle loot. Pretty solid that you could go for. Now, in Ancient Legacies, the game recommends you go for Sargon the Great. So so you have ambitions. And you can have 2 active ambitions at the same time, and grand ambitions over here. Complete ambitions to gain points in different archetypes. Archetypes unlock powerful tiered abilities with faction-wide benefits. Only 3 out of 16 archetypes can be active at the same time, and opponent royal scribes to empower your ambitions. Ambitions and royal scribes both have archetype categories. Okay, let's select this category. So this is the ability of generating a new ambition. You can also appoint a scribe over here. So greatly increases the chance to gain at least of this particular type. So you have builder, raider, overseer. Okay, so that does have a particular duration. Okay, so we can hire one, and then we can just generate a freaking ambition. Maybe I should have done that from the very beginning. Now, these won't necessarily be the most powerful things in the world from the very beginning, but at the same time, you know, you get things like Path to Conquest, which reduces enemy siege holdout time. I think that affects auto-resolve. Like, the less the holdout time is, the better the auto-resolve in a siege is as well. You don't necessarily start with some great buildings over here. They do have a temple, at the very least. Still, like, I'm quite serious. This is, like, extreme ridiculous stuff. I think, to some extent, I do have to wonder, was CA Sophia forced to do this? Because they didn't necessarily want to do cavalry. And it's like, apparently the higher-ups forced them to do it. Well, I'd say mission accomplished. They were trying to really make a faction that's appealing. Like, I was really going to play Babylon, but I don't know if I really want to play Babylon. Maybe I'll play both, right? You know, one at a time, figure that out. Same with Mycenae. Honestly, I'm not really interested. Like, this is the thing. I think people have said this before, and I agree with them. Like, let me say this. When, like, the Egyptian factions, they're very boring. Like, I'm quite serious. Like, Tostret, Seti, I can care less about them. Amenmess is a bit more interesting just because of the ridiculous bullshit of gold that he can do. Ramesses just doesn't work because his units are not great enough for how the game meta is. Maybe it's better right now, but still. Ursu is hilarious, Bay not so much. Like, genuinely, out of the factions in the baseline game, I would say like Ursu and Shupuluma are the most interesting ones to play by far. Like, Ursu is so freaking hilarious. I kind of regret they removed Shemsu Hor because, like, Ursu had this amazing voice line when we were talking about Shemsu Hor. Like, if you could make Ursu Pharaoh of Egypt, he would have a line like Shemsu Hor. Shemsu Hor, the time of the year when Egypt gives me gold. I love Ursu. Like, he's like so barbaric, and it's like he knows it too. So if you make him Pharaoh, he's just laughing about the whole situation. That is hilarious. Everyone's too serious. Let's have some fun, right? Burn the world to the ground, right? All that kind of stuff. Yeah, Shupulima is certainly very serious. But now I think, like, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I personally don't have any freaking... And it's... okay, let me finish that sentence. I have no desire to play any of the baseline factions again. Like, I would rather play minor factions than the baseline ones. Like, quite seriously. Like, I just didn't find the characters interesting, the way they handle those campaigns or anything like that. Even Ursu. Even Ursu, as much as I like him as a character. It just kind of doesn't work. And, you know, I'm a big fan of the Trojan War, so you could say, oh, it's nostalgia, you know, childhood nostalgia reading about Iliad, but it's not just that, really, I think. Like, I just think the design of these factions just works better, from my perspective. Like, you know, there's still issues. I wish Ithaca and Achilles and Ajax had unifaction mechanics. Maybe that will be modded in. But all the same, genuinely... I'm looking at the situation over here and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, they did a much better job with this expansion, because that's what it is, than the base game. And I agree with people who said, if this had been the base game at the beginning, or if this kind of level of attention had been given to the base game, it would have worked a lot better. Like... I don't know what the hell they were thinking with Pharaoh. It's like, let's not change anything about how our shitty battles work in a historical game, or how bad they were in Troy. Let's make them worse by removing myth units. And it's like, that's gonna work. It didn't. They have improved that. I will say battles do feel a lot better because of the lethality aspect, but there's a lot more to discover on that. Go see signing out.